My name's Hilton and this is my Audi A6. Today I'm going to show you guys how to replace the center console. Installation procedure is pretty much the same for left-hand drive as well. So I already did the dash over there. That particular trim just pulls out. You can use a trim tool, just pull it out and replace it with the new one. And the same with the doors. They have already been done, and they just pull off with a trim tool and you can install the new ones. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the back. I'm just going to take out the rear lighter. You'll see that there are two little holes on either side of your vents, and in order to access them you have to make sure that your vents are in this position like that. It does help to have these little hooks, and you can just buy a radio removal trim set in order to do this. And this little wire is just pretty much the same as the wires that attach to the air vents in the B pillars. Now the reason we remove the rear air vents is so that we can get to that bolt over there, and once you undo that bolt the whole armrest will come out. And in addition to that, we just need to release the cable that is attached to the lighter socket over here, and that is sitting over there. So I'm just going to see if I can press that tab and pull it out, and we have all the cables unplugged. So I just need a socket, and that looks like quite a big bolt, so I'll tell you what size it is now. It's a number 13 and it's pretty tight, but once you get it loose you can just undo it by hand, and then the armrest will be able to be removed. So now the armrest should be able to come out. Now if you have the phone kit or you got an SD card or whatever in your armrest, you will just have to unplug some cables here. So starting at the back here, we just need to get these mats out of the way, and that will reveal some of the screws we need to undo. Oh, there's some kind of oil in here. Wow, that's pretty gross. I see there's a screw missing over there, so I don't know what that's about. But this thing needs to be cleaned up. And this one has a little tab that you can grab to get it out. And I see there are no screws in there, so that's cool. But I do need to transfer this to the new one, and they're pretty dirty underneath, so I'm going to give them a good clean. And then I just want to lift this little one over here to see if there's a screw in there. There is no screw there, so that's cool. And I'm just going to remove the lighter as well. So we have one screw there, and there's supposed to be a screw in here, but that screw's missing. So if your screw's there, undo it. I just want to get the gear shift surround out. The best thing is to actually get the gear shift into the neutral position, but then your ignition has to be on literally all the time. And then we need to get this goodie unplugged from the center console, and we can just use our hand to do that. So that is out of the way, and I'm just going to put this to the side. I don't think it's necessary to unplug this, you can leave that. What I will be doing is I'm going to be transferring my MMI controls, this whole panel here, to the new one before I can put it back in place. And while I'm doing this, I'm also going to notice that there's ambient lighting going to the front lighter, or the front ashtray over here. And what I want to do is just tap into those wires for my ambient lighting box. So while I've got everything apart now, I'm going to splice that cable in as well. Now the last thing we got to do is just get the ashtray out, and there's the clear thing for the ambient lighting. Now there are two more screws over here that we need to get access to, and these screws are actually loose because this whole thing has been loose from day one. We need to take this entire piece off over here all the way to here so that we can get access to getting this out. And I'm going to undo these screws over here just so I can lift this piece to lift this thing out of its home. So I'm just going to pop this one out, and we have access to the screw. That's what it looks like. And as you can see, it's angled and it goes in a specific way. I've got the bolt out, I've got it loosened, and I'm going to just start on this side to pull all my clips out. Just get this out over here. And what I want to do is just move the passenger seat all the way to the back so we can get access in here. I've only released it up to this section over here, and there's the clip that goes in and under this piece over here. And I see there's another one here which took a bit of strain. I see it is a little bit bent. But anyway, that is what it is. And then there are just clips, like door clips, that pop into these holes over there, and they hold it in place. Then I'm just going to do the driver's side, and then I can start undoing all the bolts here on the center console, and then hopefully pull it out. Before I can pull it out though, I do have to get the gear shift into the neutral position, and that will enable me easier access to getting the whole thing undone. Right, so I'm just releasing the screws on the center console itself. Now before I can do the screws over here, I'm just going to put the car into neutral, and just remember, once you do that, you can't pull your key out the ignition. And these two screws are not T25 as far as I can see. There's something else, something smaller. I actually don't know what size this is. I just pulled one of my little tools out, and it is smaller than the T25. So this could be a T22, and just making sure they are loose. Before we can do anything here, I just need to undo this thing over here, and they do have place for you to get a trim tool in there. There we go. And take that out. Get to this screw over here, and this thing just unclips, and we need to just remove that T20 over there. I think it's a T25. Nope, it's a T whatever this was that took out the screws on that side. So I'm just loosening this one, and then this should come off the car completely. And I'm just putting these screws, I'm just putting my screws down there. Right, so I just want to show you guys, as you can see, I haven't pulled this thing out all the way, but what you got to do is this thing clips into some clips here at the bottom on this white bracket inside here. So you need to just get this loose, and once you get that loose, it should be able to unclip. So this whole thing can come out now, and I'm just going to place it down there on the seat with my armrest, and now we should be able to release the center console. I'm not sure if it has two more screws. No, it doesn't. Although there are places for screws here, but it doesn't actually have screws. And there are two screws that actually go in, one on this side over here and one on that side over there. And you can see there is the place for the screw. But my car, these are missing. So this thing has been out of the car at some point, and whoever took it out did not put all the screws back. So I'll see if I have screws like this, but I doubt it, because these are screws that have the washers attached to them, and they're not self-tapping. They're pretty unique. I'm just going to undo the cables, and there are quite a few of them. So undid the lighter. Okay, well, I'm going to pull out the MMI plug first. Right, we have that one out. That's for the MMI. And then the parking brake. There we go. So now we can just lift this out. And there's still something else holding it. Is there another cable? Oh, yes, the cable for the ambient lighting. There we go. And there's the whole lighter thing, the whole ashtray thing. And now we can get this out of the car. So now I just need to undo all the screws that hold the MMI controls in place and transfer them to my new one. As far as I can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 screws holding the MMI in place. I think this chrome thing definitely has to come off first, so I'm just going to remove it. I do have a spare one in case I break this one, because I kind of thought that I would break it. So you just got to undo all these little clips around here in order to get this thing off. There we go. So you see there, the chrome is peeling off there, so I'm just going to replace this thing. I'm not going to bother transferring it. Now if you push from the back over there where the plug is and you just push up, the MMI controls will come out. Right, so here's my wood trim version, and I'm just going to get the MMI controls into it. Right, so the MMI controls are in, and I'm just going to get a little brush, clean it up, and then put in the chrome. So I've got it all clean, and now I'm going to fit the chrome trim. And the one that I bought is different to the one that's in the car, because this is for the facelift version, and you'll see that one is very shiny and one is matte. And I prefer the matte one, to be honest, because I can't stand anything shiny in a car. So before I button everything up, this is the little plug for the ambient lighting in the ashtray. And what I've done is I've just made the wires bare. The blue and white wire, I think it's blue and white, looks like blue and white to me, is live, and the brown one is ground. So I've tested that with my test light, and I've just made the wires bare, and then I've run my cable for my ambient lighting through the center console, and I put a plug at the end of it. So this plug will just plug into my ambient lighting box when I install that, and I'm just going to tuck it in down there for now until I get to the ambient lighting, but at least I know that my ambient lighting will have been sorted out. And the rule of thumb that I'll always use is the black wire is ground, the red wire is live. So that is the way I always do things when I wire any electronics in a car. Right, so I apologize for the light. I'm working in the sun here, and I know that it's not conducive to great filming, but unfortunately it is what it is. So now I want to just get this back in the wood trim. Try and get all these pieces over here through the hole as well. There we go. And I still don't know what I'm going to do with these screws that are missing here. I'll see, but I doubt it. I don't think I've got anything that's going to fit in there. So before I do this, I just want to get the lighter plugged in, or the ambient lighting for the ashtray plugged in, and that involves getting this little plug in down here. So that's plugged in now, and then this has to plug into the park brake, which is situated here. Okay, a satisfying click from that, and the MMI only plugs in one way as well. So I've got that plugged in, and then the lighter socket over here plugs in a certain way, and that's that way. Right, so we have power on the MMI now. Right, so I think I've got it slotted in, and I have it in place, which is great. And I need to clean up those little rubber mats before I get those in. The job is finished now, and I'm very, very chuffed with the results. So now the entire car has a wood trim interior, and I'll just get in and remove the key, the ignition still on. So the console is in. Unfortunately, I could not change this because you get a different one for right-hand drive versus left-hand drive. I haven't wiped it down yet, and it's just the MMI that's a bit dirty. And but yeah, maybe I can still do something with this switch, because it's just there that it looks a little bit tacky. And I think what I'm going to do is just cover it and paint it silver. And I think that will do the trick. So now we have a center console that is wood, and all the doors are wood, and everything matches the steering wheel. So I'm just going to go to the back and show you guys an overall picture. So result I'm very happy with. I really like the look, and this is exactly what I wanted when I bought the car, or when I bought the wood trim. And I'm very happy that everything turned out as well as it did. And I also am happy that I have my ambient lighting wires wired. So that's going to make the job so much easier in getting the main box inside the dash, and running the cables for the ambient lighting will be easy. I think doing the door cards will probably be a little more difficult because these door cards are not easy to get off on this car, at least not as easy as Jaguar. So if you guys enjoyed the video, give it a like, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe.